You know, there's no formula. I wish. But it's something, it has to touch me somewhere in my heart. And most likely it has to be something that scares me a little bit, that I'm not sure I can do it. And so Paul gave me this script, and obviously we've been friends for a long time, but I read the script and I found it extremely profound. I had just lost my father, who was almost 101 years old, but he had been living with me. And Paul lost Russell Banks, who wrote the novel, just before as well. And Paul had some tragedies that he was dealing with. So the two of us were kind of in this emotional state of coming to terms with losing people very close to us.
En el film vemos a tu personaje en distintas etapas de su vida. ¿Cómo trataste de mantener la continuidad en estas etapas? ¿Tuviste alguna conversación con Jake o Melody? ¿Crees que al final el personaje que vemos confesarse ante la cámara es el mismo que era cuando era joven?
No, we didn't. We met once during early pre-production. We had a reading of the script, which I usually hate doing because scripts don't read very well. They're a visual medium. But I think what Jacob was probably looking at early films of mine and, was watching me. And I was talking to him about, he's Australian, so the kind of American English we talked about a little bit that he should be using. So he's listening to my voice. But there's only one shot we're in together in the whole movie, where I walk into a shot, I get out of a car, camera follows me, I walk out of the camera, and he walks in. Other than that, we didn't work together. But mind you, I think he's terrific in the film. I think Paul and I didn't really know who he was before we hired him. We just thought he was a wonderful young actor, which he is. But we didn't know he was this big deal. Until one day we had 500 girls showed up on the set to see Jacob.
Tu personaje siente la necesidad de decir toda la verdad a su mujer, pero necesita que la cámara haga de intermediario. ¿Qué piensas de esta idea? Como actor, ¿encuentras que es más fácil desnudarse ante una cámara?
Oh yeah, I mean, look, there's something between action and cut where everyone is paying attention, like really paying attention, really in the moment. And before that, it's a little loose. After that, it's a little loose. But the camera intensifies being present. And certainly I can relate to that. And when the character talks about it in the film, of course, there's something about that the camera, you give yourself to the camera. You can't fight the camera. You have to give yourself to it. It sees everything anyhow. So there is this kind of strangely heightened, but maybe more truthful, he says more truthful, maybe, aspect of the camera changes everything.
Parece que Leonard se hace documentalista un poco por casualidad, grabando lo que él creía que era algo psicodélico. ¿El arte debe ser político o provocativo para triunfar?
Yeah, it depends on if you're talking about art as being provocative as being purely political. Art has to be challenging, of course, but it doesn't have to be violent, but it has to challenge how we see reality, how we see ourselves, and make it fresh. And there's all kinds of different art. There's pop art that kind of is this kind of zappy to the eye and to the mind a little bit. There's deeper kind of art that takes time. A novel takes time. A movie is about a 2-hour phenomenon of storytelling. I think if it doesn't provoke somehow an altered vision of the world and ourselves, then it's probably not worth doing.
Se dice varias veces en la película que tu personaje era objeto de conciencia y por eso no lo usó en la guerra. ¿Qué peso crees que tiene esta circunstancia en la trama?
Well, he wasn't a conscientious objector. He didn't say, I'm going to
Es lo que lo dice.
refuse to carry a gun.
Mm.
You know, he pretended to be homosexual, and that time, if you were homosexual, you weren't in the army. Different now. No, but I think part of the story was that he didn't make a moral decision. His decision was more self-serving. And if we're to believe our own storytelling, that I think there was an element of cowardice, that he ran away from responsibility. Not necessarily from a war, but from his own personal responsibilities. And I think that's what he's feeling so guilty about.